guys, welcome to the show. This is your host Deuce. Welcome to Amateur Opinions. Today's episode, I have JJ Taboola as my guest, and he's going to detail how he got into an accident, a mountain bike accident, where he fell off a cliff in Stellenbosh. So the conversation is going to start midway. So just enjoy the show and let me know what you think. Peace. So I remember the first time I actually met you, I think it was might have been 2017. Yep. Maybe 16, but I think it was 17 for sure. And we were at Guamaka's place. Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about an accident that you had, right? And man, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So we're just gonna talk about that a bit. Okay. And how it all like links together. You know.
Probably need to get some tissues. I'm probably gonna start crying.
Well, you managed to hold it together that day. So. But yeah, okay, so let's take it back to that fateful day.
Yes.
What happened?
So, my friends and I call it 2040. 420, sorry.
420.
420, it was April the 20th.
Yeah.
It was bonus day.
Damn.
It actually wasn't bonus day, it was letter day. So it was the day we get our letters.
Yeah.
And it was also one of my mates' birthdays. And he wanted to go mountain biking that day for his birthday.
Right.
Oh, well, like, cool, let's go. Let's do it. So we planned it like a month in advance or something. There's a place in Stellenbosh called the Ride Inn. So we worked half day that day. And, yeah, we got our bonus letters that morning. And then we did like faffed around in the office for like till midday. And then went for lunch at the Ride Inn. And one of my mates, Simon, he had like a big, like 500 ml of beer that day. And
that's Simon right
there. And I remember thinking, and it was properly hot that afternoon, properly hot. And I remember thinking, a beer would go down with my lunch right now. But I was like, I'm about to cycle like 15 Ks. I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, after it. Then we had booked a place in Stellenbosh for the night.
Okay, so you're gonna crash there.
So we're gonna crash there, and we already texted some people. Yo, tonight's going down. You know what that kind of thing from in the Belleville area, Stellenbosh area. So we got our bikes and we're on our way, and we took a nice little photo just before we actually with Jonkershoek Mountain behind us. Yeah, and we began the ride.
And had you guys done this before, like mountain bike?
So I'd mountain biked. It was my first time in Stellenbosh, mountain bike. No, it was my second time in Stellies. It was my second time. First time I mountain biked in Stellenbosh was actually when I moved here. 2013, 2014, but not Jonkershoek. But I've done these mountains, Devil's Peak, up to the Blockhouse, Yeah. But I've never taken part in competitive cycling. Okay. Like a lot of Cape Townians tend to. Yeah. But, or a lot of my colleagues anyway. But, on that day, it was just a leisurely ride. Right. On a particularly hot day. And, so we set off. And so the ride-in is maybe about 4 kilometers from the actual gate where the mountain starts. Or the reserve starts. So we cycled through. And on the way, we were riding through all these billionaires' properties. Yanni Mouton and Christo Visa. Yeah. And all the stories. Look how long his yard is, 2 kilometers, and look, the electric poles disappear underneath go underground when it's going under his property and out the other end. All those stories. And those are obviously the stories that you can imagine lingered with me after the fall. Yeah. Anyhow, so
wait, just sorry. And you have a guide with you?
No.
Or it's just
no guide.
Just mates?
Yes, okay. It's just mates. About 7 of us.
7, okay.
Yeah, about 7 of us. And we would ride, like let's say 2x2 for a while, 3x3, and then like one would go ahead of the other. That kind of thing. Just absolutely taking the piss. We're just having a great time. And I'm always out in nature. And for some reason that day, I felt I was particularly appreciative of the beauty out there. I feel like I always do, and I always try to, but that day there was a heightened sense. I had a heightened sense of amusement and just appreciation for the beauty. And at some point, I even told the guys, like, no, you guys can go ahead. Don't worry about me. Let me just take my time. I'm actually really taking this place in. Yonkeshoek is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
And I actually was thinking, you know what? One of these Saturday mornings, I'm gonna wake up all my mates, and we're gonna come out there for doing like a nice breakfast or a lunch, and maybe we don't even have to cycle, but we could at least like take a hike there or whatever. And I did probably after the first 7 kilometers, I was absolutely knackered.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. And there's what they call the first waterfall. So there are 2 waterfalls. And like when I got to the first waterfall, by that time, I could see Simon and the other guys like going down full speed at the from one of the top of the ranges, or of that route, of that particular route we're on. I could see them on the other side, like speeding down. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can't wait till I get there. But I had got to this first waterfall, and there were a couple of guys who I didn't know who were just like in there, like taking a dip. When it was hot, when I mean hot, it was about 35 degrees that day. Oof. It was uncomfortably hot.
Oh, and that's in April.
Yeah. Strangely enough, for the seasons sort of shifting. Yeah. So I thought, let me get off my bike, take a dip as well, just to cool down, and then get back on. But it's also dusty, so I'm thinking, if I get wet, then I get back on my bike. Yeah. I'm just gonna be collecting dust. I'm thinking, no, let me just finish this ride, get to the guest house, take a swim, have a nice beer, and whatever.
Solid plan.
So I left those. I just said, I waved at those guys, and I just continued. On my way down, I think I was probably a bit too relaxed. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I think I was probably looking up at the views a bit too much. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I think I had, I had reached for my water bottle and taken a sip. And maybe was distracted.
And this is while you're riding?
This is while I was riding.
Okay.
Right?
It's not steep, is it?
No, it's quite steep.
Okay.
It's quite steep. There's quite a gradient.
Okay.
But it's not like steep where you're like a bit worried. But also, I mean, here's the thing. I hike every week.
Okay.
Right? And when I'm hiking, people are telling me, away from the edge, JJ, away from the edge. I don't know whether my perception of danger is different from other people. I don't know. But on that particular day, it just seemed like an ordinary day. And I remember cycling down. I wasn't paddling, but I was going at quite a speed, and it seemed okay. And then I put my head up, and I realized that there was a curve coming, and I just knew that it was a lot sharper than I expected. Yeah. So I decided to go out so I could take the corner wide, and as I went out onto the edge. And as I was taking, I took maybe just a little bit of it. Yeah. And when you're on those rocks, you can't really brake because the accident will be way worse with the brakes on. Yeah. And I remember in the last 3 seconds thinking to myself, I'm 27 years old, and this is the day I'm actually going to die.
You felt it?
No, I felt it. I mean, I looked down there. I was like, there's no ways I'm going to make this. I was like, there's just no ways I'm going to make it. And yeah, I just went off the cliff.
So it's a freaking cliff.
I mean, it's a proper edge. Yeah, it's a proper edge. You wouldn't step off on purpose. Let's just put it that way. So you wouldn't step off on purpose.
Is it one of those like if you stand on it and like look, it's like freaking scary? Like.
So I mean, the way Yonkeshoek is not like like Table Mountain's rock.
Yes.
Right. So it's like actual. Yeah. That's those are actual cliffs. Okay.
Yes.
Yonkeshoek is there's a lot of vegetation. So even though it's embedded by rock that eventually, goes up, there are some trails on the top. But when you look down, you are looking all the way down, but it's just, you're looking down at an incredible amount of bush. Yeah. But you can't comfortably walk down there. It's just too steep. You can't even stand at a comfortable angle. It's just
too that steep.
No, it's steep. I fell about 15 meters, 15 to 20 meters.
Okay, so you by the edge, you try to go outside and then in.
Yeah, I try to go. I'm basically trying to go around as wide as I can, just to give myself space to maneuver.
Yeah. Okay. And then you realize like this isn't gonna work.
I'm not even realizing it's not gonna work. The bike was just not gonna make it around the bend, basically.
And then you ride off. Okay. Then at this, do you remember how it happened? Like
I do.
What you felt? What did you see? Like what?
Do. I mean, the bike went completely off, and I held on naturally. And when the bike landed, I landed with the bike at a very weird angle. So obviously you're on a bike like that, and I landed like sort of like at a, so let's call it a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
And my chest went straight into the
handle.
handlebar.
Oh.
And you know, on a mountain bike, there's that
little
middle section that went straight for my sternum. My hands just couldn't handle the pressure of the shock of landing, and I remember feeling as though my wrists were just broken almost, and then that impact threw me off the bike, and I mean that was only the beginning. I mean that wasn't even the beginning of the fall.
Initially.
Yeah, that was the initial falling. Shit. The actual falling started after I came off that bike, and I fell. I was falling face first, so I went down with my hands like this, and it just began this incredibly fast tumble. You can imagine. The only thing I can describe it to is imagine being someone tying a rope onto you, and just flinging you through or driving you through like just a massively dry bush of fynbos. I mean, this stuff was it was going in my mouth. My head was like and my neck was just going in all directions. I was literally like a piece of paper just being spun over and over and over. And I remember thinking I was just waiting for darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for darkness. I was waiting to die, basically. I mean, that was the only thing. Next, right?
Yeah.
I did not think I was going to make it.
Did you have a helmet in this?
I had a helmet,
okay,
which actually saved me, because you can imagine all the rock under there.
Yeah, like the head injuries would be...
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
And the bike, how do mountain bikes work? Like, because I know I've seen some bikes where the pedals...
It definitely doesn't have seatbelts, I'll tell you that. Or airbags.
They need to put like a little airbag on the freaking handle just to save your sternum. So I know I've seen some bikes where the pedals, where you basically clip your foot onto the pedal. Is it like that?
No, those are road bikes.
Okay.
Those are road bikes.
So mountain bikes, it's just a clean pedal.
It's a clean pedal.
Okay, so at least you don't...
Yeah, so those are... So I mean, those are called cleats.
Yeah, cleats.
No.
Okay.
No. This was just clean pedaling.
And if there were cleats, is that worse? Because now you're stuck onto the bike.
Yeah, look, I think at that rate, at that speed, at that level of that, with that inertia,
yeah.
I honestly think you'd either lose the shoes, like your body will just go and leave the shoes, or the cleat would just come off. You need to understand, this is proper 60 k's an hour kind of.
This was 60 k's an hour.
I'm assuming.
Approximately.
I'm assuming. It was fast. I'll tell you that. It was fast.
And you're going downhill.
I was going downhill.
So is this the point where you saw Simon and them
No.
I'd
seen Simon and then maybe 30 minutes before that. Maybe 40,
so you'd passed
maybe
that
even
point.
45 minutes before that. Oh, yes. That was the point.
Oh, that is the point.
That was the point, yes.
Where you saw them. That's where you fell.
That's where you fell. That's somewhere where I fell. It's called the Taboola corner. I'm sure you can Google it.
The Taboola corner.
Yeah, so I came off, rolled down, and at some point I just stopped rolling, and I was alive.
Was it at the bottom, or
it wasn't at the bottom?
You just stopped something.
So what happened? My leg got stuck in some fynbos, and I mean, when I say dry, I mean these twigs were like properly dry. Anything I touched was absolutely scraping me, and when I stopped, besides the feeling of broken bones, what I actually felt was it was like burns, actually. I had the sensation of burning on my body. And that was purely because my skin was just open. I had cuts everywhere. It was crazy. But the overwhelming pain was in my leg, or in my pelvis, basically. My leg had gone jammed in sticks and whatever. And it was actually behind me. So I actually stopped rolling, even though I was still on the cliff, but I was hanging and my leg was the only thing that was really helping me, or that was holding me back from continuing to roll.
But that's where the pain is.
And that's where the pain is. So that motion of my leg getting stuck and me going beyond that snapped my pelvis. Yeah. Snapped my pelvis, dislocated this leg, and I had to wait. I mean, I couldn't, it's not like I could just pull it out, right?
No.
So I just I just had to basically rest my head back. And so I lay against the back of my head, and then I was balancing the back of my head, and then my foot underneath me.
Yeah.
Or my leg underneath me, and just like lying like that for hours.
For hours. So, okay. So keep in mind, your friends have gone.
No, they're gone. They're long
Your
gone.
6 friends. Right. So you stayed behind on your own.
So get this. Without realizing it, I mean, this is a long route. It's about 14K. So over time, I didn't realize that some people had turned back. So apparently, turns out, and I learned this months later, one of the guys, his chain snapped, and he turned around. When his chain snapped, one of the girls who was close by said, "Oh, no, I'll turn back with you."
Yeah.
Another person ran 10Ks. I mean, another person did 10K, about 10 kilometers, and decided, or 10 kilometers, including the section from the ride in. So 10Ks tar.
Okay.
And then, 4Ks tar.
4Ks tar, 6Ks.
6Ks gravel, and decided to go back. And they were like, no, that's all they were planning on actually doing. And then they went back. So there are a lot of people just decided to chop and change. Some people went ahead. Some guys even changed the route and went up, left, right, whatever. But we were not all on the same course.
Yeah.
By the time I fell. So when I fell, no one saw me.
And so you're saying you were there for hours?
I was there for hours.
How many?
About
approximately
3.5. Yeah, close to 4.
Are you not bleeding internally or something crazy like that? Like, holy crap.
So, when I fell, my initial thing was to squeal, or the closest thing to cry.
Yeah.
And I was screaming. I was screaming so loud. The pain was so excruciating. I'd never felt anything like that.
How much did you break?
I broke a lot. I completely shattered my elbow.
Yeah.
From about there to about there. Right. So I shattered this into about 8 pieces. I broke my left hand at the elbow as well. My sternum was incredibly injured, possibly cracked, and I broke my pelvis as well.
And your leg?
My legs were fine.
Okay.
So my legs were not broken, but the thing is, because my pelvis was broken, I couldn't use them.
Yeah.
I couldn't use my legs. So yeah, I was in very bad shape, and then obviously like incredible bruising on the arms and on the legs, on the thighs as well, and my chest. My chest was scraped. My nipple practically came off. Yeah.
Okay, and so who found you after 3.5 hours?
So in the first 45 minutes, that was the most critical time for me, because I honestly thought, screaming, someone will come help me, right? No, it didn't quite work like that. The people that were at the first waterfall, who I had seen, I thought they were my best bet, and I heard them. Oh, no. Actually, as I was cycling down that hill, I actually remember they drove past me. I actually remember.
Also, you can drive on that road.
There's a 4x4 track.
Okay.
There's a 4x4 track up there, and I actually remember seeing the guys. Driving. I remember seeing the guys driving. It was a Jimny. Oh, am I getting confused? Yeah, along that route there were cars parked in strange places. There was some cars I would see, but then some people. Jonkershoek is massive. Yeah. I can't even begin to explain to you how big it is. There's some people that drive to a certain spot, and then they go into the mountains and go hiking for like a day or two, whatever. So there's some people who I would think you're on the route, but I never saw anyone. I'd see a car at some point, but I wouldn't see anyone. So, look, I think I knew at that point that there was no one. There were at least 2 people behind me, but as I was down there, I'd wait to hear them, and once I would hear some sort of movement up there, I would be screaming.
Yeah.
And no one hears me. I could hear them literally just go past.
How would they not hear you? Because you're 15. You said about 15 meters, 15 to 20 meters.
15 to 20 meters, but I'm facing. So if the mountain is behind me.
Yeah.
And they're going in sort of that direction.
Yeah.
I'm lying in this direction, so I'd be screaming into that.
The voice is going that way.
I'll show you a picture of where I fell.
Yeah.
You can't even see me there. I'm so deeply cushioned in these bushes, and maybe also with the injuries, my voice is not projecting as it should. There's just I've thought back to that day every day since then, and just trying to think, how could I have avoided it? How could I have rescued myself differently, etc. it's actually just everything just happened somehow for a reason. I think.
Yeah.
You know, and this is coming from someone who's not even religious. But I eventually realized that my water supply, my only water supply was on that bike.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, okay, I'd eaten maybe an hour before, so at least I was fine in terms of hunger. So I mean, this is me now mentally preparing for potentially spending the night there, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, what time will guys realize I'm missing? So people were only going to realize I'm missing around 7ish, maybe 6:30, when everyone's gone back, got the car, gone to the guest house, showered down, having a beer. Where's JJ?
Where's JJ?
You know, his car's still at the ride in. Let's go back and look for him. He could have fallen anywhere, and it takes hours.
This is 14 kilometers worth of trail that you were going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they might think I'm along the route, not knowing that I'm actually down somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
So all these thoughts are going through my mind. And then I also think about, a case I worked on, an investment client I worked on 2 years prior to that, 2 or 3 years prior to that. There was an email that came to the office that was sent to me for me to handle. A guy had passed away. He went hiking on Jonkershoek, right? He left on a Monday to come back on Tuesday. On Tuesday evening, they realized he was not coming back, and then they sent a search party. To go look for him, and they had to call off the search party because the place gets heavily foggy in the evenings and etc. So they literally they only found out him on Friday, and he had slipped and fallen, and basically, you know. So essentially, his estate, he needed money to go to his kids, and he had terms and conditions as to how he wanted the money to be shared out and etc. And that's what we were calculating. But I'd never thought about that man since the day that I did the work on the fund, and yet, you know, here 2 years later, I'm dying in the exact same spot he's dying at. I'm thinking to myself, is this like some sort of like thing I should be looking into? Like, what does this mean? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm lying there thinking, I could get help. They could find me. They could try and fix me up, and it turns out I'm paralyzed from my neck down. Because at that point, I couldn't feel anything. So I'm like, I don't want to be a paraplegic.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love the outdoors. I love a good party.
That'd be torture, dude.
I'm like, I can't. It's just not my personality, you know? And then I was like, maybe it's actually just best I just lie here and die here, to be honest, you know? And I'm thinking, geez, I thought about my sisters, and I was like, I'm sure they'll be fine. I was like, my parents though, like I'm the only son. It's like, I'm like, what a waste. Living for 27 years, and then boom, I'm just gone. Like I haven't really done anything, you know. And I started thinking about, you know, all those things you put in your drawer because you want to read later. You know, you think this is important, and you highlight it, or you save something, a bookmark on your phone or bookmark on your browser. And you think to yourself, all those things that you just never get to. This is me up there with no idea of how I'm getting out of there. But I'm just thinking about, just like I don't know, I'm having philosophical thoughts about life, you know. And I felt something tugging on my neck.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder, it feels like my sack. Like I've got this rug sack that I use when I cycle, and in there I've got my cell phone, my car keys, and my wallet. And it's usually down by just at the bottom of my back. And I thought to myself, what are the chances that it's the one up here? Like I don't understand how it could get there.
Yeah.
But it really, really feels like it. But my arms are both broken at that point, and I can't actually reach for it. I actually started looking out at the other side of the mountain thinking, even if I die here, to be honest, this is the best view I could possibly have.
Yeah.
Going out. Those were my genuine thoughts. I was thinking I haven't done anything wrong to anyone. At least I don't think so. I've lived a good life, you know. Things have been good, to be honest.
As far as a 27-year-old is
concerned. As far as a 27-year-old in Africa is concerned. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's some. Anyway, I'll leave my offside jokes for. Yeah. Anyway, My fingers were definitely working on my left-hand side.
Yeah.
On my left hand, and I used them to sort of, sort of up my body like that.
So you're moving your body, you're moving your arm, using your
my
fingers. That's
I'm
brilliant, yeah.
using my fingers to sort of get to my shoulder. And I pull out, and I mean, I cannot explain to you how excruciating the whole thing is. I pull my phone out, and I thank goodness for what's it called, fingerprint.
You're not trying to type in.
I'm not trying to type. And I just dialed 911. I put on loudspeaker, and I didn't have network either. I didn't have signal. I dialed 911 and I put on loudspeaker and I drop it on my stomach.
Wait, 911 actually works?
If you had asked me what would you do in an emergency situation if you had given me that exact scenario, the day before, I wouldn't have said anything about 911. But that day it just came naturally. I pulled on my phone. I didn't even think about it. I just dialed 911 and I put it on loudspeaker, and a woman picked up the phone. I could not believe it. Damn. I'm actually trying to retrieve that
voice recording.
A woman picked up the phone, a colored woman, and she was like, 911, what's your emergency? I was actually almost trembling. I could not believe it. So I'm trying to explain to this woman exactly what's happened. I've fallen, I'm on a mountain, I need help, blah, blah. And she says to me, what's your location? I tell her I'm on Yonkers Hook Nature Reserve, blah, blah. And she says, sorry, we can't find that on the map. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, we use your GPS to track you and we can't pick up anything. So I'm explaining to her, just Google Yonkers Hook. Like, I'm pretty sure it's it's a famous enough reserve that it will be on Google Maps, at least. And she's like, no, we can't find it. I'm telling this lady, listen, you are my only help here. I told her, look, just tell the ambulances to drive to Stellenbosh at least. Let them at least be on their way to Stellies. And then we'll figure it out.
Locate me, yeah.
And what was concerning me is that she was overly relaxed. And then she asked me a question that really made me worry. She says, did you call here this morning? Is this a prank call? And that's when I'm like, I'm finished.
Hey guys, thanks for watching till the end of the episode. Appreciate it. We actually spoke for about an hour, so I decided to make it a part 1, part 2 situation. So just tune in next week, same time, and you'll see the rest of the episode. It's a very riveting story. He talks about the rest of his experience and how it impacted him and how he actually ended up getting saved properly. The rehab and all that stuff, and how he got off the actual cliff. So yeah, sorry for the cliffhanger, but I'll check you guys next week. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And again, I do appreciate you guys watching till the end. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe and share. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace.